Hi guys, welcome back to the Cupcake Jemma channel. I'm Dane, and today I'm going to be making for you a Tosca cake, which often originates from Scandinavia, but it's also attributed to like Sweden and appears in traditional Swedish and Danish baking too. So it's really simple, 2 parts. It's an almond cake, a really moist, dense crumb cake, and then it's topped with a chewy almond caramel. It's delicious. This is the perfect cake to get your energy back up after you spent 3 nights hollering and hooting to Beyonce on her Renaissance tour. And shout out to the girlies that saw me giving it large in the VIP area. You recognized me from YouTube and came up and said hello, so hey. Your energy was amazing, and I hope that you had the best night also, because I know I did. So let's crack on with this cake. The first thing you're gonna need is to preheat your oven at 160 degrees Celsius, and I've already lined a 7-inch loose bottom cake tin, and I did this by just putting a round sheet of greaseproof at the bottom and then another collar of greaseproof around the sides, and I stuck it all with this Release a Cake tin spray. So if you're in need of some of this, do head over to cupcakejemma.com because we stock this and a whole load of other decorating tools on there, as well as the crank palette knives, the mini ones. You get cake scrapers, cake levelers, and also the cupcake cases that we use here in the bakery and on the channel all the time. So if you're a regular and you bake with us here on the channel regularly, do head over there because it's great to stock up your essential baking decorating toolkit, because we use these things all the time, so it's really handy. So I'll put a link in the description box below for that. But moving on to the sponge, into my stand mixer, I'm going to crack 2 large free-range eggs. And then to that, I'm just going to add 135 grams of cooled, unsalted butter, melted. It needs to be cool for this recipe. Don't do it whilst it's hot, or else the mixture will not whip up properly. And then I've just got 50 grams of double cream going in there as well. This just adds a nice richness to the cake. You can use something like yogurt, but I just prefer double cream. And then next I've got some almond extract going in, just 1/4 teaspoon, just to boost the almond flavor in this cake. And then also 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then to that, I'm just gonna add 90 grams. I've got golden caster sugar here. You can just use regular white caster sugar, but I just like the kind of light caramel taste that it gives bakes. I just prefer it. And also I put it in last because if you tend to put sugar sitting on top of eggs for a little bit too long, it essentially starts to burn and like cook. And when you mix it, you'll get lumps of like egg yolk in there. Not good. So we'll just pop the head down and mix it for a couple of minutes until it's thickened a little. It won't go super voluminous like if you whip just eggs and sugar, so don't expect it to, but it will split a little bit. That's totally fine. So once this mixture is done, just leave it sitting there for a moment and we'll prepare the dry ingredients. So I've just got 90 grams of self-raising flour going into a bowl, not sieving anything. Don't really need to with this recipe. And then 40 grams of ground almonds. It's an almond cake. And then I've just got a little bit of baking powder, a heaped 1/4 teaspoon, and just a pinch of salt. And then I'm just gonna give that a whisk together. Just grab our egg mixture back, take the whisk off, and then we're just gonna shuffle in half of the dry ingredients, like so, and then we'll just fold it through gently, and then do the same with the other half. Once the batter is all in the tin, it's quite loose as it is, but just give it a little bit of a level off using the small cranked palette knife. I already told you earlier, you can get these on cupcakejemma.com, so whilst it's in the oven, do a little shop up over there. That is all it needs. Plop. And I'm gonna pop it in the oven for 28 minutes. But, there we go. Once it's had 23 minutes, and there's 5-6 minutes left on the timer, you want to start making the almond caramel top. So I'll see you in 23 minutes. So the cake has 5 minutes left on the timer, so now we're gonna make the almond caramel. And for that, you just need a medium-sized saucepan. I've got 90 grams of unsalted butter going in there. And then keeping it consistent with the golden caster sugar, I've got 70 grams of this going in. and just heat it on a low medium heat until the butter has melted and the sugar has dissolved. Then whilst it's still on the heat, just add 1.5 tablespoons of plain flour. Whisk that in until it's smooth. Once you've added the flour and the salt, we're just gonna add a little bit of whole milk. Again, 1.5 tablespoons. Give that a little whisk in. And right now it kind of looks like, almost like condensed milk, but a little bit darker. But it's really smooth and glossy. And then now, just going to add some flaked almonds. I've got 90 grams of almond flakes, and just mix that through with a spatula until they're all coated. So this is basically the caramel done, but the cake is done. So we'll take this out of the oven, and it's not quite a caramel until it's gone in the oven, yes. So cake is ready. It looks nice and golden on top. It's beautiful. And I'm just gonna plonk all of this on the top and then spread it out so it's nice and even and it reaches the edges of the tin. Lovely, and then this is going back into the oven to caramelize that. It's happened before too. To caramelize that top, and also I'm just gonna turn the oven up to 200 degrees Celsius just to caramelize that top even more. So it'll bake for 20 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, fan assisted, or just until it's nice and golden and bubbly on top. That's it. I'll see you when it's out of the oven. Stop following me all the time. Woo. Cake is baked and cooled down completely, and I didn't want to just eat it by itself, so I've decided to serve it with some roasted peaches, which these are absolutely delicious. So all I did here was I just cut up some peaches, about 4 of them, mixed it with about 80 grams of soft light brown sugar, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, pinch of nutmeg, and a little bit of vanilla. Mixed it all around, baked it in the oven at 175 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. Took them out, gave them a stir around. They're all nice and glossy and shiny and juicy. They're gonna be great with this cake. And then I've got some creme fraiche as well, because I feel like it needs a creamy element to this cake because there's no icing. So I'm just gonna spice it up a little bit with some vanilla extract and just swirl that through the creme fraiche so you can still see bits of vanilla in there. To eat this delicious cake. I cannot wait to tuck in. Here we go. The almond top is really crunchy, and that cake is the perfect crumb. It's so moist, I can see it already. Amazing. The cake is really moist. The creme fraiche goes perfectly with this. And let's try the peaches too. Get it all in. It's slightly kind of autumnal because of the peaches and the cinnamon, but because we use peaches, it's also a little bit summery. And you've got the creme fraiche to lighten everything as well. The almond top is like chewy as well, and the cake isn't too sweet. This is why I wanted to pair it with something that's a little bit tangy, like the creme fraiche, and the kind of sweet, sticky peaches as well. It's divine. I hope that you make this cake. If you do, do not forget to tag us at Crumbs and Doilies, at Cupcake Jemma, and also at Dane Pemberton, because I love to see your bakes. So until next time, I'm gonna go and eat the rest of this cake, but I'll see you soon.
Okay, Blue.
Woo! Call that the blue ivy. Yes. This is so good. Whoa.
Save some for me.